Hey everybody, welcome to another shelf review of the Dice Tower. We are almost halfway through here at shelf number 12, and this is the weird shaped box Eurogame shelf. Because that's really what it is. Most Eurogames these days come in the big square boxes, but some don't. And those are on this shelf. Also, there's some cool stuff here. Crystal Palace, I never did get around to playing that, but I know some people enjoy it. Ragusa, which is, interestingly enough, the only one of that series to have made the library. Then we get to delicious games. Everyone likes them. Underwater Cities, of course, is the big wig in the middle, but Evacuation, Messiana 1347, and Woodcraft over here. Then Goa. I just saw some people playing this at Dice Tower East. I was so pleased. This is an old game, and it looks so boring, but it's actually a pretty interesting game. Next to it's Arborea, which looks like a rainbow unicorn vomited all over the board, but is a great, fantastic Euro-style game. Brian Boru, you want a trick-taking game that also has area control? This is your game. One of the few out there. This game you can't read the title of is Baseball Highlights 2045. Don't worry, the graphic design gets worse inside, but it is a good deck builder about baseball. If you don't like baseball, you still might enjoy it. Then we have Offshore, a game that's about, well, oil rigs, which doesn't sound tremendously interesting, but it's a solid game that unfortunately, probably no one ever plays, but we have in the library because we like it. Elysium. This is a classic that you can get from Space Cowboys. Gunkamono, I just talked about this one. This is the remake of an old game about farming, but now it's Samurai from Jeffrey Hours, a really mean tile-laying game. And Fantastic Factories, which was all the rage back in the day. Not so much anymore, but still worth your time if you like engine builders. Next to it's Evergreen, a game which kind of killed photosynthesis for me, I think. And it still has expansions coming out. I believe one came out just this year. Christmas Tree, a fun tile-laying ornament game. All right, now let's get to the next shelf here. Trans-Europa and Trans-America. Before Ticket to Ride was invented, this was the game people played. We don't play it anymore now because Ticket to Ride is so much better. But they did come out with this version, and it is better than it used to be. And for many years, this was people's only train game. Soup. I put the English title on here, Primordial Soup, because that's the new name of it. A game about upgrading amoebas. This game's so weird. You want to play a game about amoebas who evolve and eat each other's poop? This is the game. It's more strategic than it sounds. Overbooked is a game about seating people on an airplane. Pretty solid. A Tale of Pirates, a real-time cooperative pirate-themed game with timers. You'll know if you like it from there. Tower of Madness. This was a hot gimmick for a second or so, where this was Kerplunk, but with Cthulhu. Through the Ages. Why is this game even on the shelf? Doesn't make any sense, but it's there. It's Vodakavato making his Civilization game. Spellbook. This was a here and gone again game about, playing different spells. This one probably isn't long in the library. On the other hand, the one next to it, Art Society, will last a while. They're making a nice deluxe version of that this year. Next to Art Project. That's about stealing art, or stealing it to keep it safe. It's kind of like Monument Men, but a little bit sillier, but also a very good cooperative game. Next it has Police Precinct. This was made when there was very few cooperative games, and we were lenient of horrible graphic design. It is a good game. I like it a lot, but yeah, the looks haven't aged well. Flip Ships. This is a game in which you are dexterously flipping onto a board. They made an Alien Invaders version of this, but I think Flip Ships is the better game. Nefertiti, if you like giving gifts to an Egyptian princess. Factory Funner. This is the all-play game, actually, but I have it in the better box because the all-play box barely fits everything. Verflixt. This is a game called That's Life. This is one of the best roll and moves you'll ever play. It's very fun, but it's like a classic game. Next to that's Lighthouse Run from Amigo, where you're trying to move up a ship. You're trying to move ships up a river, but you must stay in your island light. It comes with nice little lighthouses. It's pretty neat. Dragon Keepers. I've not played that one, but it's thin, so it's on the shelf. And Genoa. Used to be called Traders of Genoa, but they gave away the first part of the name to get some extra points. It's trade everything style game. Now, if you know anything about board games, you know who designed most of the games on the middle shelf just because it's all green. But first, let's start on the edge here. We have Magnastorm, which is a really solid game that no one ever talks about moving vehicles through a giant storm. The two Concordias, Concordia and Concordia Venus, I believe one of them has an expansion in it. Navigador, we're going through some Matt Gert stuff here. Imperial 2030 and Imperial. If you like to play a game where you aren't the players, well, you're a player, but there's powers in the middle of the table and you need to control them to move them. You would like those. All right, let's go through some Friedemann free stuff here. Fast Sloths is one of his best games, straight up. Doesn't get enough talked about it. Free Ride USA, I don't know anything about it. Power Grid, that is his most popular game and is a true classic. Fearsome Floors is also one of my favorite Friedemann Freeze games. Running from a monster who's coming after you all. Fayum, meh. Fabled Fruit, that's pretty good. Futuropia, never played. Elfin Roads, it's green, but it's not Friedemann Freeze. That is an Alan Moon game about moving elves in a race across a land where you ride pigs and unicorns and dragons. Pompeii. Yes, it's 2,000 years ago, so we can laugh about the death of all these people getting thrown in volcanoes. I kid. We just smile. Tales of Arabian Nights, a silly game in which anything can happen to you and will happen to you, a storytelling game. Aladdin's Dragons, this is one of the key games, actually, but it was remade as Aladdin's Dragons, and oddly enough, this version, the Rio Grande version, is the nicer version. And then next to that is Adrenaline, if you just want to shoot up other people, that like one of those video games. I'm starting to sound like an old man there. One of those video games. You'll like it. All right, next shelf. Rats of Wistar. Pretty solid game from Simone Luciani. It's kind of like The Secret of Nymph as a board game. Redwood, a game about taking pictures. It's not all that. But After Us, that's a fun engine building game with no player interaction. And next to that, we have 2 copies of Lords of Waterdeep. One has the expansion, one does not. And it's just still a classic game, a lot of fun. Battle of Gods, if you want to walk some gods around and smash each other in the face, kind of like a King of Tokyo style. Then we got some games that dares not lay on their side. Quarriors, with several expansions in it, including Quarterfax, which is the best one. Magic Realm, a game no one's ever going to play, but I have it in the library just in case you want to see this very classic old game that was more complicated than Dungeons and Dragons. Return of the Heroes, which has some of the worst art in any game ever, but was a pickup and delivery game set in a fantasy world back when in Europe there was no fantasy-style games. Millennium Blades, a game about collecting trading card games, pretty fun. Endeavor Age of Sail, which no one's ever going to play anymore now that Endeavor Deep Sea is out, but it's still here for now. Space Alert. Would you ever like to be blindfolded and have someone slap you in the head and try to do a cooperative game at the same time? Well, some of that's here. Ironwood. This is a 2-player game in which one person's iron and the other's wood, and you're fighting back and forth. It's kind of like a Rebels versus the King type situation. Francis Drake, what a great game that no one talks about anymore, which has 2 distinct halves. Portals. Wow, that game sucks. I don't even know how that one snuck in the library. It's because it has a really beautiful cover. But it's a terrible game, and this will be the last time you'll ever see it on this shelf. All right, moving down to the bottom. Dungeon Fighter is one of the stupidest things you'll ever play, but it's hilariously fun. Throwing dice into a target as a dungeon crawl. Ninjato. Sounds like a Lego thing. It's not. It's a good worker placement game. Crusaders. Some people really, this game has had a resurgence of late. More and more people are talking about it. Brewcrafters. This is like Agricola if it was hard to play. Cartographers. One of the most well-known roll and writes. It's actually one of the biggest ones too. Carnegie or Carnegie, depending on which way you think is the right way to pronounce it. Very solid worker placement style game. The Age of Atlantis. I don't know anything about that, but I think Mike likes it. Eminent Domain. Oh, wow. It's been a while since I thought about this one. I have it in my library. This is a game that people thought was going to be the next race for the galaxy. It has some similarities to it. A couple Aeon's Ends, for those of you who love that game. Sidereal Confluence, which is one of the best con games there is. 7 players, very distinct, unique player powers, also a Euro. And then finally Waterfall Park, which is a remake of Chinatown. If you like trading back and forth furiously, it is a lot of fun. So there you go, folks. That's what's on this shelf. On the top shelf, my favorite game there is Arborea. Really enjoy that. On shelf 2, this one's tricky. And a lot of people are going to say Through the Ages here, but I think I'm going to say Primordial Soup. On shelf 3, it's probably Power Grid, although I really do like Fast Sloths. And on the 4th shelf here, yeah, this is Lords of Waterdeep. That's such a tremendous game. And on the bottom, well, I think I'm going to have to go with, I don't know what my favorite on the bottom is. I like a lot of the games, but none of them are like really striking me out. So I'll go with Dungeon Fighter just because of how loony it is. What are your favorites? Let me know in the comments. I'm Tom Vasel, and this is another Rack in the Dice Tower. Hey folks, thanks for watching another one of our videos. If you like our videos, if you like our channel, you would love to game with us at one of our conventions. Check out Dice Tower Cruise, Dice Tower East, and Dice Tower West. Fantastic conventions where we play games with wonderful people, a humongous library, and lots of other events and stuff. Also, don't forget to check out our channel, like and subscribe. I'm Tom Vasel.